I'm not so much concerned about the quality of healthcare. I know that our people on the front line, when it comes to taking care of us, are very good at what they do. What I'm more concerned when it comes to healthcare is insurance coverage. When we can bypass the middleman, as you would say, and bring the decisions for our healthcare to the people who are schooled, knowledgeable about what it is that they need to do to make sure that we are healthy. I don't think someone who is not a doctor or a nurse or someone in those fields of expertise should be telling the doctors what they can and cannot do. So let's think about this. I pay my money to the insurance company, then they tell the doctors what they're going to pay for. Why don't I just go straight to the doctor and give him my money and say, take care of me? That's just practical. I'm looking at that from a practical standpoint. But for as healthcare is concerned, every American deserves quality, affordable healthcare. That's the bottom line. How we get there, we have to decide that, not the insurance company. Let's talk about voting. There's so many people who have sacrificed their lives so that we will have the right to vote. It is so important during this time, this COVID-19, to register to vote. You go online and you apply for an application to get your mail-in ballot. Or you can call voter services. But we don't want to lose focus on what's important here, even in the midst of the COVID-19. Don't get distracted. We have a very important election coming up, not only on the local level, but on the presidential level. And I don't care what your views are. The important things are to go and vote, register to vote, and you have to do it online if you don't intend to vote in person, if we have the right to do that, if it's safe to do that. I want everyone to be healthy. I don't want you to risk your lives. I want you to go online, register to get your application to vote by mail or absentee ballot. That is what is really important right now. I remember working for $3.65 an hour as a teenager. And that was just pocket change. It was at one of the fast food restaurants. But nowadays, adults, people with children to raise and send to college are now working at McDonald's or our fast food restaurants, our waitresses. They should be guaranteed a salary and not depend on the kindness of strangers to tip them to get their wages. That would be very stressful for me. And I'm sure it's stressful for them as well. So a minimum wage of $15 an hour would put a family in position to have a quality of life that we all strive for. So when I sit at the table with legislatures in Harrisburg, I will make the argument that a $15 minimum wage job is just a start to ensure that our families are able to take care of themselves and not depend on the government to do it. I interviewed Josh Fox, a young man who did a documentary on the state of our environment. And he opened my eyes to the underlying current of some of the things that we do every day that affects our environment. And it's rightfully so to be at the top of the list to lobby for in Harrisburg. If we can start here locally in our community with eliminating some of the waste for products that we use, the products that do not favor our lives, our health, styrofoam and other toxic garbage, stop making it. Let's use things that are more environmentally friendly. Cut out some of the waste. It may be more expensive to produce other stuff, but we're gonna save that in the long run when we are more healthy and we don't have to go to the doctor. We don't have to go to the hospital because of some toxic waste. And when I think about environment, I think about those who are more susceptible to the garbage that our companies are discarding. And most of the time, when I think about the environment, I think about the areas where people of color, Black and brown people, and poor people are more susceptible to toxic waste. And that's just a fact. If we can figure out a way to destroy the toxic waste without jeopardizing the health of our citizens, we will be well on our way to creating an environmentally friendly community where we can thrive. GUN, guns. I remember the first time I saw a gun in my uncle's home, and it scared me half to death. It was a long rifle, and it had a little rust on it, so I didn't think he used it very much. But that was my first experience. And then I went to the military, and I had to fire an M16. I cried like a baby. But my drill sergeant says, "Private, you're going to fire this weapon and you're going to hit that target." And I did. So how do I feel about guns? They are very necessary as a weapon to defend ourselves against enemies, both foreign and domestic. They are good for recreation if you want to go hunting animals. But for the average citizen, I think we have to really be mindful of who has a gun or a weapon to make sure that they are qualified to handle such a tool. We make our children take lessons when they're going to get behind the wheel of a car, which could be used as a weapon. So I would say, when it comes to the Second Amendment rights, I support the Second Amendment rights wholeheartedly. But I also want us to take consideration the safety of those weapons in the hands of people who have no idea how to handle them. Concealed carry, I'm licensed. And I think the information that goes along with that responsibility need to be accessible to everyone. So I don't want to take your guns away. I just want you to be educated on how to use them and how to store them safely to protect our children and to protect others.